everybody, it's Kira and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about 5 books or series that have become more than just about the books. And you'll see what I mean when I get into it because I don't really know how else to explain it, so let's just go. So the first book series that I'm going to talk about is Harry Potter. Now, Harry Potter is something that I didn't get into until 7th grade when my best friend read the series and she's like, you have to read them, so I read them. And that was around the same time that I got my first laptop. My family had always had like a family computer and then like my dad had his work laptop, but I'd never had like my own computer, and so I'd saved up enough money around that time and gotten my own laptop. I mean, it was an old junky laptop that was like definitely used before I definitely bought it used, but I had my own laptop that was mine personally that I could put whatever I wanted on there. And after reading Harry Potter, I was able to go on the internet and find fans. And so Harry Potter was really my first fandom that I ever was in. It was the first time that I was able to talk to people on the internet. I mean, I didn't really like talk to people on the internet, but I like was able to find Facebook pages, like Facebook fan pages of Harry Potter, and like I was able to find all the memes before I even knew what a meme was. And it just gave me something to connect to and something bigger than just the books or the movies, because the last movie had already come out. I totally missed all of the hype for the movies and the book series until then, and so it just gave me this first glimpse at just like what a fandom is, even when I didn't really understand what it was, and it just allowed me to connect to so many people. And I mean, it still is like such a huge phenomenon in the culture, and so it just continues to keep on giving in that way. But it was the first time that I was able to really dive into a fandom and like know that other people outside of like my best friend knew that this book series existed and were as excited about it as I was. Now, it's definitely not my oldest fandom, which is kind of counterintuitive, but the next book I'm going to talk about is Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. Of course, like, if you know anything about me, you know that this book means a great deal to me, and this, especially the movie. And so it's bigger than just the book because it became something that I could throw my heart and soul into. I watched that movie countless times, and I used to actually pretend to go to Narnia. Like, I remember, I used to have a second driveway, and so I remember there was like a little gate from the people who were there before us. They had like a little gate leading into the backyard from the second driveway it was like super run down, like super old, but I remember I used to pretend to like walk through the gate and I would pretend I was in Narnia in my backyard, and it just became this place of escape for me during those middle school years, because middle school is really tough, guys. And so it just became something that I could really connect to like emotionally. And it was also something that I got to share with my younger sister. So my sister just read the books for the first time like last year, I think, and so I got to watch the movie with her for the first time, and so that was really cool, just like something I could connect to my sister, and just something that it's just so cool to see her like now loving the series that I loved when I was little and still love, honestly. And also there's this company called Focus on the Family, and they did these dramatized versions of 7 Narnia books, and so they had like different actors do different voices, and they had like sound effects and all this stuff, and it was so much fun. And so I used to listen to those to like fall asleep to, and I used to listen to them on repeat, like they were always on at my house. And so it's just, Chronicles of Narnia is just something that has become bigger than the book. I love the movie, and it was the first time that I really dove into like how movies are made. I watched all of the bonus features so many times. I still actually keep up with the actors on social media, which is pretty cool, but it just became this like bigger thing, and I was so excited to always just pour my heart and soul into this book and movie. And so, I mean, really, that was the first fandom I was ever in my heart. So the next one I'm going to talk about has a really long story, but that is the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. Obviously, this is the first series that I ever read by Rick Riordan, and so it introduced me to Rick Riordan in general. It reintroduced me to my love of Greek mythology. I still really enjoy Greek mythology, although most of my knowledge does come from the Percy Jackson books, because, like, I mean, really, whose doesn't? So Heroes of Olympus was the first series that I remember like having to wait for the next book to come out, because all the series, like all the books I'd been reading, they already had like all the books in the series were already out, and so I remember like having to wait a year to get the next Heroes of Olympus book, and it just was like so hard to wait. So that was the first time that I ever had to wait for a book to come out, and I was just so like, I need it now. The Percy Jackson series also introduced me to Geordie. So I'd been looking, I really love like fan films and like that kind of thing. That's actually what led me to BookTube, was watching Pura Ford's little scenes from the Maximum Ride series. So I was looking at Percy Jackson fan films, and I found a web series by this girl named Sierra, and I fell in love with it. The guy who plays Percy was perfect. Annabeth was amazing. It was all like middle school, high schoolers, and so they were all like just so wonderful. So the guy who's playing Percy is named Isaac, and I found out that he was going to do a new web series called Rings, and I was like, I have no idea what this is, but okay, I'll check into it. And that is really what led me to my obsession with Jordan Page Sudduth, she's a 17-year-old filmmaker from Georgia, and she wants to go to college to be a screenwriter, and like she makes all of these amazing short films and this web series called Rings. And like I talk to her a lot on Instagram, like I would say we're friends now, and it's just so amazing that like this one book series of Percy Jackson in a roundabout way led me to this really amazing person who is doing really amazing things, and it's just so cool, and I will always be thankful to the Percy Jackson series for leading me to Geordie. So the next series I want to talk about is The Hunger Games. Now this series just means the world to me because that is the first series that I remember like being super excited for the movies to come out. I read the books a little bit before the first movie came out, so there was starting to be a little bit of hype for the first movie, and then I read all of the books also because my friend had read them and said they were really good. And I remember watching Hunger Games, loving it, and then it was the excitement and the hype and the wait for movies 2 through 4. Like, this is the first time that I remember being in a fandom where I could be excited about the movies, and I remember like when there would be pictures from Catching Fire, from the set of Catching Fire, or from Mockingjay, I would like save them on my computer so I could show them to my friends and be like, guys, there's new pictures from set, and like nobody else really cared, but I did. And it just was like something that became like, I knew that it was big, but I didn't really realize how big it was until like Mockingjay was coming out. And so The Hunger Games was really the first time that I got to experience like the wait for these movies coming out, and how much of an impact it had on like my conversations in like school and just like in pop culture and all of these things. And it just became such a big thing, and it was so much fun. Like I remember I dragged my mom to a really late screening of, I think it was Catching Fire. We were actually here in Green Bay to tour Lambeau Field, and I was like, please, it's left the theater, like we have to go see it. And she was like, okay, fine. So we went and watched that, and then me and my brother got to watch the midnight premiere for Mockingjay Part 2, but we watched Part 1 first, and then they played Part 2 right after, and like it just was so amazing to be part of this really cool culture that was like just waiting for the next movie, waiting for news, like so on board with all of the movies, and it was just so amazing, and I'll always be thankful to The Hunger Games for that experience. And it really did become like more than just the book series. It became something that like kind of took over my life, and I've loved every minute of it. And then the last book I'm going to talk about is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This book, I mean, it destroyed me. Like, if you've read it, you know it's so sad. But it led me to one of the best parts of my life nowadays, and that is the Vlogbrothers. I didn't really know who they were. Fault in Our Stars was the first John Green book that I ever read. Led me to Vlogbrothers, and Vlogbrothers is just one of the highlights of my week. They just are so amazing. Hank's book, An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, comes out today, actually, the day that you guys are seeing this, which is September 25th. So please go get An Absolutely Remarkable Thing. I'm so excited to get it. I'm filming this the day before, so I don't have it with me yet, but I do have it pre-ordered, so I'm so excited to read it. And Vlogbrothers also led me to the Project for Awesome, which is a fundraiser that they run every year in December, and they raise so much money from it. It always impresses me. The couple of years that I've been watching it, it impresses me so much. Project for Awesome just helps so many people, and they always have a 48-hour live stream, which is so much fun to watch. And then there are really cool perks, like I have a poster that says pizza all the way down, and it's signed, and it's just such an amazing thing that is so much bigger than just like a book or two people, and it's just so cool, and I'm just so happy to be part of that. So there you have it. Those are 5 books or series that have really changed my life, and in doing so became more than just a book or a series. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to follow me on social media, all my links are in the description as always. I'm starting a new upload schedule, which means I will be uploading. I'm going to try and upload a video every 5 days. So if you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe. And yeah, I think that's all I have. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!